Say that your plate is white and
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining early. We should start in the next, let's say, 3 minutes. Thank you all for joining early. All right. Welcome, everyone. Kindly confirm you can hear me and you can see me.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So,
All right. Thank you so much.
well, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
So we'll get right into it. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Q2 Sustainability Series, Arnergy Q2 Sustainability Series webinar. My name is Princess Adeze Okunye, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's important conversation. So let's all relax and enjoy the ride. So our conversation today is on breaking free from high band A tariffs and optimizing energy with solar solutions. And we are so excited to have a truly distinguished panel joining us. And this panel is comprising of renowned experts, stakeholders from diverse industries. They will be sharing practical insights into how both businesses and residential users can transition to solar energy, reduce costs, and make more informed power decisions. So let me begin by introducing our panelists. So first on my list is Professor Ihaichukwu Okoro. Professor Ihaichukwu is the President and Vice Chancellor of Hillside University Science and Technology, or Kemesi Ekiti. He is a seasoned medical and academic professional. Professor Okoro is also known for championing innovation, integrity, and inclusive STEM-focused education. His academic journey spans prestigious institutions, which includes ABU, Abia State University, and Backup University. He is a fellow of the FMCS, the FWACS, and the FICS, and holds a certificate in medical neuroscience from Duke University. He is passionate about high quality education and affordable, impactful. And yes, he is a solar adopter. Let's kindly make him welcome. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Second on my list is Mr. Daniel Onwegba. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's an energy sector advisor at GIZ Nigeria, Energy Support Program, NESP. Daniel brings years of experience in the energy policy, stakeholders, coordination, and awareness building from energy efficiency. At NESP, he focuses on developing sector capacity and supporting clean energy access in the underserved communities. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the webinar.
Hi, Princess. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Then next is my friend, Miss Olamide Olaya. Olamide is leads the technical efforts in designing and deploying sustainable solar solutions in Arnergy. She has a sharp eye for energy audits, optimizations. She has helped many businesses and homes get the most out of their solar systems. She is also passionate about educating clients on energy usage. Olamide enjoys networking and exploring new opportunities. Let's please welcome all our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope we all relax and have an engaging session today. Thank you, guys. So,
good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Olamide. Thank you. So, the webinar overview, as many of you know, Band B and A tariff has gone up significantly. It's been putting a lot of financial pressures on both businesses and households. And in many cases, they rely solely on the national grid. And relying on the national grid isn't sustainable anymore. So that's why we have our session today, and that's why this session is very critical. And we'll be discussing what we know to be the true cost of Band A tariff and how they impact energy planning. Why is solar a smarter and longer term solution? The practical steps to switching over and how to size and configure a system that actually fits your energy needs. So our goal is to help explore actionable paths towards energy independence, and also to help lower costs and have better, reliable solutions. So let's sit back and have the panelists answer some of these questions that will throw more light on this. Thank you very much. So let's dive right into the discussion. We will start with Ms. Olamide Olania. Question 1. So from an energy audit perspective, Olamide, how do Band A electric tariff affect the cost effectiveness of switching to solar for households and businesses? When you're preparing proposals and making energy audit, how does this tariff affect the cost effectiveness of the switch? Thank you, Olamide.
Good morning, everyone. Please kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Olamide. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely, it does. If I'm right, the cost of band tariff is around 230 to 250 naira per kilowatt hour. So the increase in this band tariff has actually plays a burden on businesses and households. If with the increase of this tariff, people still get to pay significantly more for a solution that is not reliable. Each time we go for an energy audit, we make use of the data of the client by analyzing their power consumption, their utility bill, their downtime, and the like. So to know how they consume their energy. From the look of things, we realize that the band A users are spending significantly more on staying on grid compared to when they own a solar solution. So switching to a solar solution system, I feel is going to help the band A users. In fact, it's going to help businesses and households to generate and store their own energy. Also reduce reliance on grid, and also promote their operational stability. It is now evident that you don't like solar is not just an alternative to cleaner solution. It's not just a backup to other forms of energy, but it's a cost-saving necessity that every household should adopt and every businesses should adopt. I don't want people to see solar as being an expense. It should be viewed as investment in energy freedom, operational stability, financial control for their household and businesses.
Thank you very much, Olamide. So from what I hear you say, solar should not be seen as the alternative, but it should be seen as one of the main sources if we want to reduce cost of Band A tariff, if I hear you right. Thank you. So let's go to Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, with your expertise in the energy efficiency and power system, what solar strategies can businesses, homes, what strategies can they adopt to cut cost and optimize usage?
Right. Thank you, Princess, and my co-panelists. Right. So when we look at strategies that both households and then businesses can deploy, for me, I would always say sizing your system would be the most important aspect of optimizing your energy costs. So before you even delve into buying a solar system, you should have your installer, or you could even do it yourself if you can. You should size the system to know what your energy demands are, and then know the size of the system you would then be installing. So this, of course, includes doing an energy audit, kind of just looking at what would then be your peak loads and then your non-critical loads, and then that will then inform your decision making. And then I also advise people to by themselves calculate their estimated consumption based on the appliances they're buying, and then this would also apply well for business owners, right? So before you add an appliance to your operations, you should take the time to look at the energy consumption and then calculate how many units of power it would then consume. It may seem a little bit technical, but allow me to give us some expo. Companies like Arnergy have an energy calculator on their websites. You can just go
Yeah.
in, look at the panel of your appliance, and then put in the load, and then it will just generate how much kilowatt hours of your unit it will take, right? So
Yeah.
this also allows you to practice a little bit of energy efficiency before you even buy the appliance you intend to use, right? And
Yeah.
then couple of other strategies, practicing energy efficient methods in your energy consumption. Don't use your air conditions on the lowest temperature at all times. You can turn it on at 16, and then down the line it could go up to 23, 24, and then maintain, that cooling temperature while minimizing your energy consumption. There are a couple of other strategies, practicing preventive maintenance on your solar systems. As a business owner, you don't need to be told that your panels need to be cleaned so that they're more efficient in, taking up energy from the sun. Also incorporating, smart appliances into your businesses or your homes. You can buy smart bulbs that are motion sensitive so that they're not always on, or if you're not in the room, you're not always using those appliances. Even downright to the types of solar equipment that you purchase, right? So I would advise people to always go for batteries like lithium ion, right, or life pure, so that you're getting the best out of your solar equipment. You're not running back to the market to then go and buy a battery after 2 or 3 months because the battery is then, dead or it's not functioning optimally. I would always advise people to, or businesses and households, to also incorporate smarter solar systems. So then you can track in real time your
Yeah.
consumption and then see where the waste, if at all there is any, and then balance out your consumption with all these strategies. So yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. This was very detailed and very educated. Sizing your system, understanding what your needs are, understanding how to, even when you've sized your system and you have a system, how do you manage the system, ensuring that you use energy efficient appliances, doing preventive maintenance. Thank you so much. This was so detailed. And I hope the people online are taking these details and are hoping to put it into practice. Thank you very much, Daniel. So to the professor, sir, Professor Okoro, what inspired your university's decision to adopt solar energy, and how has that decision paid off for you?
Princess, good morning.
Good morning
Good
again.
morning, viewers and other
Yes,
members of the panel. I'm glad to be with you this morning. We are in a rural area at Okemesi. And when we were about to start our university, we realized that where we found ourselves, that public power supply was almost non-existent. And they will give you light of about 1-2 hours in a week, or sometimes about 2 weeks you will not see PAC and supply. And so we felt that we cannot depend on generator to run the university. That's not sustainable at all. So we had to think of a more sustainable, viable method to power our university. and we took to solar. Now, solar, I've known it before to be an efficient system. So we now looked around and decided who we can partner with to light up our university using the solar solution. And energy came on handy. We tried many other companies and their proposals. Energy proposal was the best. Why did I say that? Because it gave us the opportunity to lease and to own eventually the property. And we started with that, and it's been quite a very pleasant experience for us that we are able to hook on to light at least during the working hours. We have light, but we have issues with later in the day that I will discuss later when we talk about logistics. But for now, we saw solar as the only viable alternative we have to give light to our people. Occasionally, we make up with generators, but that is a standby thing. But our main source of light is by solar. So that's what we're using right now because we don't have any other viable source of light. That's why we are hooked onto solar.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you again. I want to say thank you for the vote of confidence on Arnergy. And a lot of people have always worried about, can solar power a school? Can it power ACs? Can it power machines? And this goes to show that, like Daniel says, once your system has been sized, you understand your need, you are able to use solar to power any of your equipment and it can run effectively. Thank you so much, guys. So let's shift to solar adoption, the impact and the challenges. Let's see what are the challenges with adoption and impact. And I will ask Daniel the first question. Daniel, so beyond the issue of financing, what are other challenges preventing more people from switching to solar? And what practical steps can they take to overcome these hurdles, in your opinion? Thank you. Hello, Daniel. Am I audible?
Can you please let me know if you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So we're discussing the barriers to solar adoption, right? And then you said aside
beyond financing,
financing, I mean, that is like the biggest elephant in the room. Right. So, but beyond financing, right? So when we look at some of the challenges in the sector for adoption, a huge one for us is usually the regulatory framework around solar adoption. So, for example, you have a policy that ensures that certain components for solar installations are import or duty free, right? And then on paper, that is amazing. We love that. So let's import panels at free of duty, right? Import duty. But then in practice, when you get to the port and you've imported and you're trying to clear your goods, it does not always pan out that way. You sometimes you end up having to pay import duty on some of these things, right? So there is a disconnect between the policies we have, the regulatory framework, the enabling environment, and then what we have in practice. So that, to an extent, impacts how much or how quickly we can adopt solar, because those things ideally affect the enabling environment for us to then scale or spread how much solar energy that people can use. So that's for regulatory aspect. We also have issues like the skills gap, right? So then we have this technology that's a little bit nascent in Nigeria, but then we have a lot of people that just pick up this as a skill, and then they just start installing, right? But a lot of people don't have the prerequisite knowledge
Yeah.
or the required competence to do this job, right?
Mhm.
There's a disconnect as well between people that can do these jobs competently, and then, so at the end of the day, you find out there are people that have installations, but then they're not installed well, and they're complaining that, oh, solar is bad, solar is this, but then we don't have a lot of trained technicians that then do the job. But thankfully, we've now experienced or seen a couple of standardized training programs across the country that are seeking to bridge the skills gap. In GIZ, for example, we developed a national clean certification scheme that allows people to go and then be trained across different occupational profiles in the renewable energy domain. Right, so that then helps in standardizing the level of skills and competence that people have. Another barrier would then be quality assurance, right? So we do have standards, right? So let me not get that wrong. Organizations like Get are out there ensuring that whatever comes into the country meets a certain quality requirement. But at the end of the day, we still have a lot of, inferior products, yes, that come into the country, and that also distorts market confidence and consumer confidence in these products. But a solution to that that I've personally been able to come to is that a lot of these products, or the recognized ones that I would advise people to go for, always have a way for you to check the authenticity of what you're buying from the OEM's website. So, for example, you're buying a panel, you can go to Jinko Solar's website and then check the authenticity of what you're buying. But generally, quality assurance is a problem, the skills gap is a problem, and then regulatory uncertainty is a problem. When it comes to the solutions, there isn't a lot that the layman can do for regulatory uncertainty. So for those of us
Exactly.
that the government in the room, this is a call to action for us to strengthen the efforts towards regulatory cohesiveness. For those of us in the sector as well that work in the skills gap area, this is a call to action to also intensify efforts. The last one I would say would then be grid instability, right? Because then a lot of the systems that we deploy are hybrid systems, right? And they rely on the grid to an extent, to operate optimally. So that again is another challenge. And then we hope that the Ministry of Power and other key stakeholders in the sector would then intensify actions, for a more stable and reliable grid. So when it comes to barriers, these are some core areas I believe affect solar adoption in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your detailed explanation. And one of the things I can notice that there are a few things that are not within our control, which is trying to ensure that these policies are effective. We might not necessarily have control over it, except that we have to lend out our voice continuously. We have to come together and ensure that what has been written on paper is actually what is obtainable. But the ones within our control, which is trying to get skillful people to do installations and all that, I think we should, even Arnergy, we also organize trainings for our installers. We have those set rules that ensures that all installers are properly kitted, they are properly detailed on how installation process, and it's standardized. So every installer understands that how the process goes. So the ones that are within our control, we'll keep ensuring that we work on it. The ones that are not within our control, we'll keep lending our voice until it becomes standardized and we can totally trust this process. And the switch to solar is even more easier because a lot of times you want to sell solar and people do not understand it, they do not trust it because it has failed a couple of times for other people. But without this standardized process, we will not have a lot more people trusting the solution. So thank you very much, Daniel. I'll go to Professor Okoro. Since going solar, what has been the most significant impact on your operations? Whether is it financially, is it logistically, or otherwise? Where has it significantly impacted on your operation?
Well, thank you very much. As I said earlier, we haven't had any experience with band A. In fact, our own is in band D, if there's any band like that. But the fact of the matter is that since we didn't have any other alternative, we had to rely on solar. And just like you mentioned earlier, financing of solar can be quite scary to people because it's capital intensive to set up a solar solution system. And like Dan also mentioned, we have a lot of quacks in the profession who will give you all kinds of fake panels or other things. And because of that, people tend to run away from solar. But our experience with energy has been totally different from the perception we've had about solar before. Why do I say that? You see, like I said earlier, with the lease to buy or lease to own system, it kind of took some serious load of us financially. When you have to pay over 300-400 million for what you need for solar, that's quite a huge sum. But with the lease to own, we were able to make a down payment and we are paying some reasonable sum every month. And that has helped us, it's not too tasking for us financially. So we are able to handle that financially. Now, coming to logistics, everybody knows that solar depends on sunlight. That's why it's called solar. And it works best when the sun is up there, you see. But when you have some kind of weather that will limit the amount of sunlight that's available, that places some challenge on the way solar works. And that's why I said it has to be the best way is a hybrid system, whereby you use some public supply to charge your inverters when the sun is not available. But with that, you can take yourself off band A and go to band B, where you have some reasonable amount of light coming on. And with that, you can charge your inverter when PSCN is available. So at his side here, for most of the office hours on a daily basis, we don't have challenge with light. You see it? And coming to the load is able to carry, it depends on the power of the inverter you have asked for. For us, we are working with 100 kVA, inverter that's reasonable enough, and it's helping us both for the offices and residents and the labs and other things we are doing. But we need to do some real power auditing to be able to move on. And that's why, because we are dealing with students, you have to monitor what they do with lights all the time. You see, and we let them realize that if you use this power carelessly, it will also affect you, because if it goes off, you won't be able to do the things you want to do. You see, so with that, we have trained them to know how to use lights economically so that it will last for us. And so for most of the time, we have lights almost 18 hours or more in a day. You see it? So the other times we can use generator to make up, because like I said, we hardly ever see the public power supply in our environment. And so with that, we've been able to move on with minimal downtime of lights. And energy has also been quite helpful, because anytime we call upon them for maintenance, they respond very promptly. And that also has reduced the downtime. And you see, the other aspect of solar that is nice is, if it's properly done, is adds to the aesthetics of the environment. We have solar panels on our roofs, and it looks so nice. And the way the cables were channeled to the powerhouse looks so beautiful and professionally done. So with that, we don't have any issues with solar. I think I will encourage people to embrace solar if you have a good company that is reliable, that is knowledgeable and efficient to be able to handle your power needs. You are good to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Okoro. I am so excited about how the solar solution from Arnergy has impacted in your operations. I'm excited about your vote of confidence, and I'm happy that people have tried out the systems. It's working for them efficiently, it's properly installed, neatly installed, and the after-sales service is also beautiful. So thank you very much for your vote of confidence and your explanation. Thank you. So moving on, we're going to be talking about sizing and technical configuration. So I will ask Ms. Olamide the next question. Hello, Ms. Olamide. As a solutions architect, how do you determine the right system size and setup based on a user's kilowatt hour consumption? Can you give us just a few steps on how to determine the right size of a system setup? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Princess. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
So before going ahead to size the system, we first start with data. This data is gotten from an energy audit. And an energy audit is a comprehensive assessment carried out on client facility to understand their energy needs. Here in Arnergy, we have two forms of energy audits. We have the manual audit and the data logging. The manual audit is highly recommended for smaller businesses and households. So during the manual audit, what we do is we visit your facility to have a better understanding of your needs, of your energy consumption. We do this by counting your appliances, taking note of your power rating, asking you for your runtime, and sometimes we have to check your utility bill also to understand your consumption. So with this, we'll be able to size your facility based on your load capacity. For example, for an household that has about 3 kilowatts load capacity, we recommend a 5 kVA system to such household. Let's assume this household is running at 20 kilowatt hour energy consumption. We'll ask you the critical loads, like so we can understand your day load versus your night load. That will enable us to size your battery, to know when battery is critical. So for larger scales businesses and also, let's say, estates or manufacturing company, we can't do this manual audit because it might not be effective. So what we do is we install our monitoring device that we call the data logger. It helps us like track your usage pattern. From this data logger, we'll be able to know your downtime, your peak demand, and also your consumption, also your average load. So we size based on the data gotten from this data logger. So we don't stop at sizing alone. Also take note of your roof space. So be sure you have enough roof space to recommend the required numbers of solar panel. We all know that solar panel is needed to save costs. So that is how we size our system. The way we size smaller scales is different from how we size the larger capacity, larger systems.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Olamide. So from what I hear you say, there's a sizing for the inverter, there's a sizing for the panel, there's a sizing for the battery, for the night load, for peak load, and all. Thank you very much, Olamide. And there is needs for data logger for larger capacity of systems, for larger operations. Thank you, Olamide. So Daniel, what ownership models like energy as a service or lease to own are gaining popularity for medium, small scale businesses? Which one offer the most value?
All right, so I guess we're in the one of the most important aspects of the discussion, which is financing. Right. So in terms of models that are gaining traction, right? I would say for households, let's start with households. For households, zero down payment options are very, very popular right now. Everyone is looking for the most cost-effective option that requires them to not put any money down and then get the facility upfront, and then they pay installmentally. So for a lot of medium earners, right, are very, very open to that financing model. There's also a lease to own model that a lot of RESCOs, renewable energy service companies, are now deploying, where you just pay little or small deposit for your equipment, and then you pay installmentally over time for the equipment, and then you own it at the end of the payment period, right? I've seen a lot of MSMEs key into that don't necessarily have all the capex to buy a system upfront, and then just take a chunk of their OPEX and then get the equipment and then lease it over a period of time. Like you mentioned, there's also the energy as a service model. But this then, from experience, is often reserved or targeted at businesses that are in clusters. Or CNI applications. For example, you have a market and then a cluster of agricultural food processors, and then one service provider that owns the equipment comes and then services that cluster or that market, and then charges everybody a fee per kilowatt hour per week or per month, however the case may be. So then this model is usually deployed by mini grid developers who want to scale for commercial and industrial applications. And then additionally, at NESB or GIZ, right, we have a model which is similar to a lease to own. It's also similar to an upfront or outright purchase, right? But what we do is that we offer energy audits at no cost for commercial and industrial businesses, or for a little bit large-scale MSMEs, right? Depending on how the operations are. So what we do is we offer you an energy audit at no cost. We'll do your sizing, we'll tell you what your energy consumption is like, and then also tell you the kind of system that you would then need to go off the grid or do a hybrid system. And then on the flip side, we'll also train your facility managers at no cost at ISO 5001 and 9001, which are certified energy auditor and certified energy manager, right? But of course, there's a catch, but it's not a bad catch. The catch is that after we do all of this, we would then link you to German OEMs that could then supply you the equipment you need to go off the grid, and then you can do this with an outright purchase, or you can do it with a lease-to-own process. But the advantages that we do the free energy audit for you, and then we train your facility managers to manage your energy consumption afterwards. So in a nutshell, these are really popular financing models for those that are really looking to uptake solar. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and which one would you say has the most popularity, and which one would you, if you were to suggest, which one would you say is the best out of all the ones you've mentioned?
So it's a little bit contextual, right? For business owners, I would say, depending on your capacity, if you're looking to maximize OPEX, I would say go for an energy as a service. If you have a little bit of CapEx to begin your process, then you can go for a lease to own. For individuals or households, I would advise you to go for a zero down payment financing plan that allows you to just, take up the equipment. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I am pleased to announce that in Arnergy, we have all these different payment models. So depending on the one that best your business, you're free to approach us, and we're able to offer this financing. Thank you, Dan. So Olamide, as an expert in the solar financing, what funding options are currently available to make solar adoption more accessible for business? This sounds like something Daniel has already answered, but you can just throw in your voices.
Okay, thank you, Princess. So we have various solar financing that has made solar systems to be accessible and affordable, especially in a country known for its inflation rate and also high fuel cost. Here in Arnergy, we have about 3 different financial models. One is the outright purchase. For outright purchase, this is best for people that have enough capital. It allows for full ownership. And from outright purchase, you can actually get quick return on your investment through your fuel savings and reduce usage of fuel. So, and also, we have the lease to own option. I think lease to own option is the most popular financial model because of its flexibility. The lease to own option allow you to spread the cost of your system across a specific number of time. And this is actually affordable and accessible, most especially because of the no upfront cost, the zero down payment. And we actually have that here in Arnergy, the zero down payment. That does not even require you to pay an upfront cost. You just have to get your system and you pay monthly. So we also have the energy as a service option. This energy as a service option is best for commercials. The user will be charged based on their consumption, like you'll be charged based on your energy consumption. There's no need for full ownership, and the maintenance of the system is handled by your service provider. So those are the 3 options we have in Arnergy, and these are the 3 financial models that we have.
And considering your solar, what are the key, for those considering solar, what do you think are the key technical or operational factors they should evaluate before they take a plunge? What do you think they should think about? What do you think they should consider before they decide to purchase a system already?
I would advise that before the adoption of solar system, you have to start with an energy audit. That is very, very important. Like to allow you to understand your energy consumption, your load demand, and also prevent your facility from being oversized or undersized. Location is also very important. Like sometimes you visit client facility, then you hear them say they don't know where they want to have their solar system yet. So it's best for you to know the location, or you can actually seek advice on where you can have your system, because we all know that you have to put your system in a well-ventilated environment. Also be sure of your roof integrity. Make sure that your roof can take, like it has the stamina to take the panel weight. Make sure you have enough roof space as well. So that location is very, and make sure that your be careful of shading. Make sure that your facility, probably in case you have trees around you, be ready to cut them down, because that is actually going to affect the generation of your panel. And another thing that you need to consider is scalability. Like be sure that the system you are getting can go with you for future expansion. When you are expanding your load, be sure you are getting a product that you can actually expand both your inverter, your batteries, and panel for future expansion. And the most important thing is the system efficiency. I know solar system is actually, we consider it as being expensive, like the initial investment, but the long-term values actually matters. So when you are getting solar system, like be sure of the system efficiency. Don't just go for cheaper products. Like think about quality. Make sure you are getting quality batteries and inverter. And aside the quality, make sure you have good product warranty too. And I would say be sure of like the other services that your service provider would render. Your service provider should be able to offer you like not just installation. They should be able to offer you like aftercare services, maintenance services, repair services, and your system performance monitoring services, like we do in Arnergy using our solar base, where you can remotely monitor your system. So ultimately, I would say we should not just see solar system as an expense. We should view it as an investment for into energy freedom, into sustainability, and also cost effectiveness. I think every household and businesses should adopt solar system.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Olamide. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So what I hear you say, one of the things I think I say that a lot of times, is that the price of the system is not the most important factor you should think of when considering to buy a solar system. So when you have options of solar systems to buy, the price is not the biggest options. There are a lot of indices to consider, and you should consider the important ones, which might not be price tied. Thank you so much, Olamide. Professor Okoro, as a customer of Arnergy, what stood out to you during installation process? What was the aspect of the solution that you really enjoy? And even though you said this, I think you said it a couple of times, but it's one of your questions, and I would like you to answer. What during the installation process stood out for you, and what aspects made the solution a good fit for yours? So, thank you.
All right, thank you. I said it earlier.
Yes.
The installation was professionally and aesthetically done.
Yeah.
And promptly done too. And one other thing that we enjoy from Arnergy is, like I said earlier, they monitor our system even from their office. And they give us reports on what is going on. And anytime we call them, they respond to our distress call with us. And it doesn't happen quite often. It doesn't, because like I said, if you have a system that was well installed, the complaints will be quite less. The challenges will be very few. And that's exactly what we have enjoyed, from Arnergy and their products. And like our sister, Lamide said, we should encourage people to embrace solar. Once you've gotten the good products
Mm.
and you have well-trained professionals come to install the products and it's maintained, I think you can enjoy solar. Now, concerning the cost implication, these panels last beyond 10 years if you have a good,
25 years.
yes, if you have a good panel
Yeah.
and the butter and other things. So by the time you finish paying for the product, just the lease to own agreement that you had
Yeah.
with the company, the rest of the years you only be maintaining the system. You don't have to pay for light. You
Yeah.
see, you don't have to, because that's an investment you have made, by paying for the equipment and also getting it running for that period of time. So
Okay.
I think that's what we have enjoyed from energy. And I must say that it's a reliable company that one can do business with. And I recommend them very highly. Thank you.
All right. So Daniel, we have a question for you. Actually, we have a question for you from mine, and it says, how popular is the solution that Daniel is describing about going fully off-grid? How popular is the solution? And I believe is the one you talked about, the energy service, where energy providers will install solutions in the location and the whole collection. How popular is that solution? And would you say the removal of subsidy in May 2023 increased solar adoption? If yes, can you share data to this effect?
Right. So to answer the first question, energy as a service is getting quite popular, right? In the context of subsidy being removed for electricity, it has become a very popular approach to especially rural electrification,
Yeah.
right? Agencies like REA, the Rural Electrification Agency, are
Sure.
very proactive now, and then encouraging or stimulating demand, especially from the private sector, to then push or spread access to energy in rural areas, right? Like I mentioned, energy as a service works for business clusters, and then it also works in rural communities where houses are closely lumped together. But in rural or in urban or peri-urban areas, you wouldn't really find energy as a service models. If you live or if you've been to rural communities, then you would then see a lot of these mini grids being set up and then supplying power to the communities. So in that context, yes, it's a very popular, or it's rather getting popular right now. And then to answer the second question about solar adoption increasing after the removal of subsidy, I think before, as someone working in the sector, if we track back, like say 5 years ago, there was a lot of advocacy being done for solar adoption. Like, oh, come and do solar, these are the benefits. Now people are chasing after installers of
Exactly.
how crazy the tariffs are. So I don't think it needs a lot of people. People are actively looking for solutions by themselves. And with that we can see that the removal of subsidy inadvertently is increasing the uptake of solar solutions. I've seen houses go off the grid. I've seen hospitals go off the grid. And I can't give you data so that I quote the wrong figures.
Yeah.
From my own personal point and professional point of view, the uptake has significantly increased. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been a very educative session, and I hope all the joiners have learned a thing or two, please do not hesitate to reach out to Arnergy if you have more questions. We have direct contact with these guys and we can keep asking them the questions. But there's going to still be a question and answer time for the audience. So yes, we have about let's say 20 to 30 minutes for that. So if you have your questions, please put them in the box. We'll pick the questions. You can even send an email and the marketing team are on standby to pick up your questions. But for now, let's just ask, what are your final thoughts? Let me start with the Professor Okoro. What is your final thoughts on this discussion before we go to the question and answer session?
Well, it's been quite exciting, being part of this webinar. Me as a customer, and listening to the experts and also our service providers, talking about solar. It's been, like I said, it's been quite a pleasurable experience, for us running solar. Apart from, like I said, the weather limitations, which we have occasionally because of poor sunlight availability. Apart from that, I think we are doing good. And so I will want to advise those who are listening and those who are, particularly those on band A, because that's the problem area, trying to run away from band A to conserve some funds and so on and so forth. I would think that those from band A may not run away from band A totally. But what they can do is to shed the load they have on band A and put some on solar. Like those that have street lights, like institutions that have street lights, and some other areas, they may just devote solar to those areas and then depend on band A for the rest of their operations. And if they do that, I can assure you that they are going to really reduce the amount of funds they are putting into energy for their operations. And that would be my candid advice to them. Solar, if well installed and well managed, could be a pleasurable experience for those who want to use it. But if you don't want to use solar and want to depend on band A, then you'll be prepared to pay for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for your final thoughts. We are grateful, and we look forward to you scaling up your system in Hillside.
Yeah, eventually, because the university is growing.
Yeah.
The university is growing. We are putting up more buildings that will require being powered. And so we will come to you again to scale up what you have. But I will just say that you shouldn't use that to cut our throats. Actually, you should be very, lenient with us when we come again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So Olamide, what are your final thoughts before we go to questions and answers?
Okay, so I would say to make meaningful goals in this 2025 for energy, I'll say the first approach, like I said earlier, should be energy audits. Make sure you understand your consumption before adopting energy solution. And also, I would say you have to benchmark solar alternatives. Like try to compare your current expenses versus when you acquire the solar solution. And also make sure you work with experienced service provider. Your service provider should be able to like offer you other services, not just come into your facility to install and then leave you to it. And also be realistic when you are choosing a financial option. Like be
Yeah.
compare what you are earning to whatever financial model you are choosing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Olamide. Thank you. Choose your financing right. Choose your system right. Thank you. So, Daniel, please tell us your final.
Right, thank you. And thank you to my co-panelists. They've pretty much summed up my thoughts, really. But key takeaways still remain, like Olamide said, knowing what your consumption is, being very pragmatic when it comes to choosing a financing option. It's pretty much, it's very much contextual. So don't see your neighbor doing energy as a
Yeah.
service and then say, oh, that's what I want to go for. You need to
Yeah.
be realistic, pragmatic, and then choose what is most realistic for your household or your business. Another takeaway, which I always say that, in Nigeria, our approach to energy efficiency or conservation is like putting the horse before the cart, right? So this now is a little bit, I wouldn't say far-fetched, right? But this now has to do with, for those of us that in the room that are going to be building facilities or building our houses in the future, you really want to take into account energy efficiency in your building design.
Yeah,
This will go
exactly.
a very, very long way in minimizing your energy consumption. So when you're speaking to your architect, make sure that they're incorporating energy efficient practices into the architectural design. So using like larger windows that will then allow more lighting and then more air into your space. Using cooler materials in the construction phase would also allow you to save on energy costs. So at your own free time, just look at some of these ways when it comes to building
Yeah.
that will save you energy in the long run. So
Yeah.
not all, choose a very realistic financing option when you're building, look at energy efficient building design methods. And then lastly, know your energy demand and your energy consumption so you can choose the right system for your applications. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Daniel. I totally agree with you. Even your type of roof also affects the amount of space that the panels can accommodate. So when building homes, please put this consideration into place. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your final thought. So right now, thank you, my panelists, but we're going to go into some of the questions that has been asked. And I will start with Daniel again. So, what are the main drivers for tariff changes and subsidy? What are the drivers? Are they mainly tariff changes or subsidy? And I think what this means is the person is trying to ask the drivers of their adoption. Is it just tariff changes or subsidy?
So it's a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
So the government introduced what we call there's an MYTO, which is multi-year tariff order. It refers to a cost reflective tariff rate, right? So being that our energy markets now is private, right? You have the DISCOs, you have the GENCOs, and then you have the Transmission Company of Nigeria, right? The way it works is that the GENCOs who generate the power then sell off the energy to the DISCOs, right? And then all the power that the DISCOs receive from the GENCOs, they have to sell it to with the customers, right? And
Yeah.
then for you to make a business case or an economic case the tariffs have to be cost reflective, meaning that we have to pay what it actually costs to generate and transmit this energy that we're getting from the grid, right? So in order to make energy supply sustainable, right, you have to remove the subsidies so that then the market is demand driven, which is where the bands come into play, band A, band B, band C. So the idea of the band is that if you're willing to pay higher for electricity, you will get higher hours of power, right? So
Yeah.
in this context now, both the bans, both the tariff hikes and then removal of subsidy work hand in hand to ensure that we have a sustainable energy market. But then again, there have been arguments that subsidy should come back and this and that. But in the context of your question, the tariff and then the subsidy removal play a huge role in solar adoption. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The next question will go to Olamide, and it is the advantages of lithium-ion batteries over other types. What are the advantages of using lithium? Because Daniel mentioned that when you're choosing a solution, one of the things you should choose would be lithium-ion batteries. So what are the advantages of using lithium-ion batteries over other batteries? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Princess. I'll start with cycle life. Lithium-ion batteries have longer cycle life compared to other types of batteries. They have longer lifespan, I think about 5 to 15 years lifespan. They are also light and compact. And lithium-ion batteries, they have higher efficiency and they also have higher energy density compared to other types of batteries. Thank you.
Thank you. So you're talking about life cycle, which means lithium-ion batteries, when you check the life cycle, even when it runs down, I from my experience, I know that even after the life cycle, it is degradable to about 60 or 80%.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that answer. So another question is, what affects the performance of panels? So when choosing a panel or when a panel is installed, what can affect the performance of panel?
Okay. Now, number one, I'll start with irradiance. We also know that like the generation of energy for solar panel is actually from the sun. So the hotter the sun, the higher the generation goes. So another factor is temperature. Temperature actually affects the higher temperature actually affects the generation from the solar panel. We also have shading too. Shading can be from the building next to your own. It can be from trees around you. And soiling. Soiling, this happens mostly maybe during dry season when you have dust and particles, or maybe probably if your facility is close to like a refinery where you are going to have like gas emission on your panel. That can also affect the generation coming from your solar panel.
Okay, are there types of
Can you hear
panel?
me, Princess?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, you were very audible. Thank you. So
Thank
are there types of panels that are more preferred for the panels that perform better? Am I audible?
Yes,
So the panels,
yes, I can hear you now.
okay. When choosing panels, are there panels that you should choose over other panels? Are there indices that you should check? Like, I want to buy this panel. These panels are better than these panels and all. What should
Okay.
one?
I think monocrystalline panels are better than the polycrystalline panels, like the one we use here in Arnergy. The monocrystalline, they even perform, like they still perform better even in low light condition. And they have higher efficiency. So they have higher lifespan. So I would advise that we choose monocrystalline panels over polycrystalline.
Okay. All right. I would like Daniel to also comment on that. Is it just about monocrystalline and poly, or are there other factors that people should consider when purchasing a panel and a lithium-ion battery?
Yes, so if we look at the batteries, even for lithium batteries, there's lithium ion and there's like PO4. Olamide mentioned, the advantages of lithium batteries having a higher density. They also have a higher depth of charge, meaning you can drain the batteries to a lower depth, and then their lifespan would still be okay as against the lead acid battery that if you drain to a lower state, then it will struggle with its lifespan over time. Looking at solar panels, like Olamide said, monocrystalline are always better because of the composition of the crystals during the production process. There is also the bifacial solar panels, right, which takes up energy from both the front and the back of the panel. With what we have now, what we used to have was just solar irradiation from the top. But with bifacials, your panel is able to take up energy from the front and the back, and then send that to your charge controllers and inverters. So then you're generating more power from a single panel as against the power you generate from one single panel. So yeah, that answers that.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from you, Daniel, and it says, how do we sensitize people on the long-term advantage of lithium battery technology over cheaper but less efficient lead acid types of battery? How do we do this sensitization?
How do we sensitize people on the advantages
Yeah.
of both?
Long-term advantages of choosing a lithium-ion battery over choosing a lead acid battery?
Right. So, first of all, your first point of contact with Solar Solutions would then be your provider. So it's expected that the provider will be able to sensitize you upfront and answer whatever questions you have. But more generically or generally rather, you're already in the solution as we speak. We have to say kudos to Arnergy for putting this together, which then sensitizes and then spreads information to people that are willing to take the information. So forums like this in itself already, help with sensitizing the general public on the advantages of different solar components. So again, thank you to Arnergy for this forum.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It looks like we have answered all the questions, except there are any more coming in, which I don't think so. Yeah. So we have answered all the questions, and I am so grateful to all my panelists. It's been such an engaging and educating session. Thank you, Professor, for taking out time from your busy schedule to join us. We are so appreciative of your presence. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for your well-informed answers. We are grateful for your presence. Olamide, thank you so much for your technical view, for honoring this invitation. Thank you, guys. We will have the marketing team present some of our offerings before we take over and say goodbye. So over to you, marketing team. We would like to present some of our systems and some of our offerings so that you can see what we have in Arnergy. Thank you. Thank you. So I will speak a bit on this. We have different solutions, and the Opulent series is our high-end product. It is beautiful. It fits into your home so easily. You can see it here, looking perfect in your home. You don't need to look for a place to hide the solution. even in your parlor, it has lovely aesthetics. We use it for homes, it can be used for homes, it can be used for businesses. We can increase it up to 45 kV, so it's able to power ACs, power whatever you want it to power is able to do that. So yes, that's our blend series. And then we have, please go to the next product. So, yeah. So we have the Z Light. The Z Light is the one we use for zero down payment, scalable up to 15 kVA. So with a zero down payment, once you pass the credit check, you have access to it. We use it. It can be used. Mostly, I think the highest adoption for it is in homes and small businesses. I have few cold rooms here in Abuja that use this solution, and they are absolutely enjoying it. We have the higher capacity agent system, which is from 50 kV upwards for higher power needs. So these are some of the solutions that we have in Arnergy. Like we said, we have all the payment plans, we have the zero down payment, we have the lease to own, we have the outright sales, we have the energy as a service. And we are able to solve whatever needs. We have experts on the team that are able to advise you on the best system that suits your need. We have off-the-shelf products. We are able to do bespoke products, put together products that fit your exact needs. So whatever the need is, Arnergy is your go-to person. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Looking forward to our next session. Thank you, guys, and have a wonderful day. These are inquiry lines. Please just go online. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. Please call us. Our lines are open 24/7, and we are willing to attend to you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
So much, sir.
Very nice.
Good to have you.
Yes.
Bye.
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 All right, can I go up now? I'm waiting